I'll start as soon as Michael says we can proceed. Thanks a lot.
Pleasure.
Thank you, Barry. I think we can proceed. I'll connect any other people as they try to join in the meantime. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Michael. Welcome again to our last session. People, thanks a lot for all the wonderful contributions so far. It's been amazing. I don't know, I wish I could contribute more. And, I'm stamping my feet and clapping my hands aside for all the good things that are happening. First time historical event today, making a few mistakes, but we're still enjoying it, I think. Okay, I know some people have sent me WhatsApps to say they are one or two that still want to come in that we might have skipped in the previous sessions. Please remind us that we do that in the session still, just after we've done the last one here on our session 5. So then we'll bring those people in. We don't want to exclude anybody. As we all know, inclusion is very important. We've been discussing it the whole time as our main theme of International Museum Day. So before I talk too much, let's start immediately with our first participant from Franschhoek. Is Stacey Farrett with a poetry recital. Stacey, are you there? We'll give you a minute, just or a second to answer. Stacey Farrett. Okay, it's still silent there. We might have to just make a note of Stacey here.
Stacey is connected. I just saw her. Maybe she's just having a technical issue, but there is a person named Stacey connected.
Okay, excellent, Michael. We'll give her just a few seconds. Stacey?
Yes.
Okay, Stacey, you may start. Thank you.
We can't all reach for the same. Imagine if no one differently came. I mean, the world would have been lame. The world we live in is colorful, and that makes us all wonderful. My citizen, why would we want to judge one another's gender, race, or sexual orientation, where we all could have been just joyful and playful? The concept of diversity encompasses acceptance and respect. We are unique, so let's look forward and lead with this respect.
Thank you, Stacey. Thank you for that one. Some very, very good ideas and inspiring words for us all. The poems are really giving us some ideas how we can treat each other in this wonderful new South Africa. Thank you, Stacey. We'll go on to Hermanus, Kobisa, and Timna. They'll be working together. Are they ready? Are they online?
Hi, Barry. Kobisa is struggling to connect. However, I see it is connecting to audio, so they're probably still busy connecting. So, yeah, we'll just, I guess, wait for them to connect properly.
Okay, thank you, Atotia. We'll give them a few seconds. We'll just move on to possibly the next one and come back to them again. Thank you. Let's go to Leanne Hendrik. She might be ready for us. Leanne, can you give us an indication if you're there?
Hi, everyone. Yes, I'm ready. And
thank you.
I'm going to do a poem, Diversity. Diversity. From the diverse and complex South Africa, a country with 51.7 million people. We are black, we are white, we are colored, Indian or Asian, and yet we are in some way all also alike. We have small deities and deities that we have adopted over the years, whether it's a saying like how's it, or what's up with your thumbs up, or our favorite Tatiyama from Chop and Wors and Puff. We all like to get together for a good braai. Why not? Because as proud South African citizen, we love to tell family stories as much as we can. Because looking back to a place where some of our opas and omas have been was a country that was oppressed and separated and have equal rights was something that as young South Africans could only imagine and about. Today, we as the youth of South Africa can proudly say, diverse and altogether equal and included. We are here to make a difference and stand together, unit. So the youth that comes behind us will also greet each other with a kid's phrase, what's up, with your thumbs up. Thank you.
Thank you, Leanne. Very well. Excellent. Lots of life and lots of feeling put into it. Our poems are reflecting, and all our participation is lots of feeling going into it. And we can see that you really mean it. That's amazing. Thanks for that. We're all South Africans, but we still share the one thing, and that is we are born in this wonderful country together. Thank you, Leanne, for that. All right. Let's go on to our discussion. We'll leave at the end because we don't know how many we still have that we might have skipped in previous sessions. So we'll immediately go on to Portable. Miss Shane Adams. Miss Shane, is Miss Shane there? Okay, what will you do? Sorry, I forgot. Before we go to Miss Shane, I've said we'll go back to Kobisa and Timna. Sorry, are you ready for yours? Kobisa? Timna, with they are doing an interview, a portrayal.
Barry, I think they still have, sorry, I think they're still having difficulties connecting because I'm chatting with her on WhatsApp and she's saying she can't hear, but she can see only you and me and some other girl. But yeah, I'll just run with it through it again. Okay, thank you.
Just let us know as soon as they are ready, and then we'll get back to them. Okay.
I will do so, Barry. Thank you.
Righto. Thanks. Let's go to we were starting with Miss Shane from Portable. Miss Shane Adams, are you online? Okay, looks like it's still a bit quiet still. We'll make a note of Miss Shane also then for the session. I'll come back to her. Miss Shane. Then next one is, let's go to Aluta Lutango. Montague, is Aluta there? Okay, it's also, I don't know if Michael sees anything there, Michael Aluta.
No, I don't see them being connected.
Okay, so it's still a bit quiet there. Nothing there. Okay, let's go to Bredasdorp. Marius Slamat, is Marius there?
Yes, Barry, I'm here. Can everybody hear?
Yes, Marius, thanks. Yeah, you're loud and clear. Thanks. You can start first. Thanks.
Okay, I've got asked a few questions. I'm gonna read the question and then I'm gonna answer them. It's only 2-3 questions. My first question that I got asked was, what are museums doing to make everyone feel included? Well, on that, my answer is museums reach out to the community through outreach programs, visiting schools, visiting communities, talking to them about what's happening at the museum, what's happening in the town or in the area that we live in, getting everyone involved with a bit of local history surrounding the museum. Like, for instance, our museum, Shipwreck Museum, telling about how the shipwrecks and the area come into contact with each other. And then my second question that I got asked is, your museum committed to diversity? To that, my answer is yes. We get in contact with a lot of the different people from a lot of different races, getting to know them, getting to know their cultures, their history, their differences between the different communities. And then my third question I got asked is, do you miss your local museum? Well, I work at the museum, so yeah, I do miss it. I do miss my colleagues. I miss the local people coming in, the international people coming in. So yeah, I really do miss the museum or work. Thank you.
Thank you, Maurice, for that, sharing your ideas there in the interview situation. Thank you for that, Maurice from Bredasdorp. Right, thank you for that, colleagues. We'll go on to those that we've skipped. Let's see if we can go back to Aluta, Lutango. Aluta is anybody there online yet? Aluta. Yes, there we have. Are you guys ready? Good afternoon. Thank you. You can start. Thank you, girls. Thank you. Oh, actually, am I talking now to, sorry, this must be Kobisa and Tina. Am I right?
Hi, Barry. I just want to note, yes, it is Kobisa and Timna. However, Kobisa is not going to speak. It's Timna and one of her friends or cousins that is going to do the interview. So, Timna and friend, you guys can continue.
Thanks. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to my quarantine interview with my sister. My name is Tina. And next to me is my sister, Stacey Majes, who I'll be interviewing. As you know that every year on the 18th of May, it is the International Museum Day. So I'd like to know, do you miss going to our local museum?
Yes, I do miss going to the local museum because every time when I wanted to learn something about the ocean animals and our local history, I visited the local museum. And now since it is the lockdown, I can't.
Can you please explain this year's theme for International Museum Day in your own understanding?
This year's theme says Museums for Equality, Diversity and Inclusion. And in my own understanding, I believe that it means all people of the community should be equally treated in the museums, and they should all be included in all the events that are happening at the museum.
Do you think that your local museums are true to this year's theme, and why?
Yes, I do believe that they are true to this year's theme because the last time I visited the museum, I noticed that there are people from different religious backgrounds, and also I noticed that there is a wheelchair ramp, so that means they are people with physical disabilities are also welcome in the local museum. And also there was a school group with learners who are speaking all the three languages of the Western Cape, Xhosa, English, and Afrikaans, and they were all assisted in their languages.
Thank you, that's all for now.
Thank you, girls. Thank you very much for that, for the interview. And yeah, I hope to see you soon again, doing something for us on this wonderful platform. Keep well and keep safe and healthy. Thank you, ladies. I'll call you young ladies. Thank you very much. Right, we go on to our, let's just see those that we might have skipped. Let's just look at who is got left. There's Miss Shane. Miss Shane Adams. Let's see, is Miss Shane possibly on? Or is not yet? I haven't yet got any indication there. Then we still have Aluto. Sorry, Lutango from Montague. Anybody
Yes,
online
Barry.
yet there or not?
Hi, Perry.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. Hi, good morning, ladies. Good morning. Thank you. You may
Morning,
proceed as
Perry.
soon as you're ready. You may start. Thank you.
Okay, we are going to write. Anuta, would you please tell me what a museum doing make sure everyone feels included?
They do everything in their power to make sure that everyone feels included and welcomed without hurting others' feelings by occupying them.
Okay. The second question that I have for you, Anuta, in which ways do you think diversity is important to the museums?
When we speak about workplaces, diversity and inclusion are two terms that are usually binded together, which sometimes creates the assumption that they both refer to the same thing. In fact, the terms are not interchangeable: ages, genders, religions, and so forth.
All right. I think I will have the last question. I supposed to ask Anuta 5 questions. If it's possible, can I continue? Barry?
Yes, you may continue.
Okay. The third question, how would you reach diverse group in your community through the museums?
By trying to go to their areas where they feel a lot safer and a lot comfortable.
All right. What areas of diversity do you think museum can improve on?
Mostly on farms and villages.
Okay. Thank you, Perry. That's the only question that I have for Anuta for today.
Thank you very much, ladies. That was
Thank
very
you very
informative.
much.
Thank you for those good questions.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day. Thank you. Right. Thank you for
Thank
that.
you.
For the ladies, I think that was Aluta. Thank you. And then we're looking for that we don't skip any more. Shane Adams, is she still on? Is Shane Adams from Portable? If she might be online now. Is Shane? No indication yet. Okay, we'll get back to her. Then there was a WhatsApp messages that came through for a few people that might have been skipped during the previous sessions. Can anybody come in quickly that might be waiting for his or her presentation? Can you please come online? Okay, it's still a bit quiet. I know there were people that said there's people that didn't get a chance. So please, in the meantime, please let us know before we end the session that we did give you a chance. We don't want to exclude someone. We want to be inclusive, as you all know. So please let me know. Anybody that wants to just, while we are waiting for those people to respond, anybody that wants to make a comment regarding any presentation or just the feeling, expression of your feelings, come in, please.
If I may speak, I think
yes.
I've been here now since the second session, and I saw people come in and go and so forth. So I think I've got a bit of an overview, and I'd like to first commend the organizers and the people that put this together, first off, because not only historical, but it's also an opportunity to see where we can shift horizons to. This is going to be our new normal. And I'm just imagining now how museums can be aired or showed in a platform like this. If there's a particular new display that's going to, because of, for some reason, we actually get a insight. We actually go with the person and see the footage. Because I know my children are on YouTube almost every day. It's locked down, so I mean that's what they go to, and they will go and like you can go to the national park and literally see in lifetime lions lying there and whatever wild animals, and so children make use of these platforms more than we, the gray ones did. And so this is the way forward, I think, for museums also to invest in putting up things like this where I can go to Genade and can check out what the girl was talking about, or some new display of, or some promotion of some sort of history or artifact that was discovered, and we can actually go there without leaving our rooms, without leaving our houses, and educate our children who has access to these fortunate devices and things that is in sort of in our lives permanently. So for me, I just think that we must, we as a community of museum lovers and museum makers should embrace this as an opportunity to maybe expand what the museums are about, and not just have it in the building, but take that building and break it up, or present it in different ways than before, because we have to now, you know, take our minds outside the box and think differently. So thumbs up for you guys.
Thanks, Karaya. Thank you. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Karaya.
That's good enough.
Is it good enough? Thanks,
It's a guttural. But it's fine. It's also fun.
Okay, Karaya, thanks for that. I love that. Yes, Kumaresh, you want to say something?
I know what you said there about the
sorry. Okay, you got it. Okay, Kumaresh, thanks. Yeah, I love that. That's the way forward, I suppose. Not ideal, but we don't have a choice, for this situation we're in. So we have to go online with our events, and of course, Africa Day is lying ahead of us again. So that's our next online event. But we're learning, like you said, it is a historic first time. We made a few mistakes, but I think we can prevent them. And with your suggestions that we're going to get from via emails or WhatsApps, that we can improve on this online platform as we know it. So I think it's a good thing we tried it. It's better than sitting back and doing nothing, and making contact with our community, with all our cultures, all our people of South Africa. And that's the way of how we can join hands, take hands. Haraya, thanks a lot for that contribution. Anybody now that we might have skipped can, thank you, Haraya, for that. Anybody that wants to come in that still has to do a presentation, we want to give everyone a chance. Anybody that we might have skipped? Hi, who's speaking?
Hi.
Hi, yes, I hear you. Can you give me your name and...
It's Amanda from Rwanda Museum. I just I'm not sure if it's a comment or is the question. It goes to us as museum educators. Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you.
Are we as museum educators connected enough? Museums in the Western Cape, are we connected enough to serve as active members in the communities? For instance, I have a learner coming into our museum, Rwanda Museum, asking about a project on medicine through time. Will I be able to refer that learner to the Cape Medical Museum, for instance, and will that information be accessible to that learner? Are we museum educators well connected to serve as active members in the community? Do I understand the theme of maybe the Brakpan Museum, or I'm not sure if you get my question.
Yeah, I mean, the others can come in. If I can just say, well, in these times of really tough times where you're not allowed to go to our museums and the community cannot come to our museums at this stage.
Yeah, I understand, but in terms of making information accessible.
Yeah, that's where we'll have to come in with our Facebook pages and making information available online via our Facebook pages, and questions from the community put down onto those pages so that we stay connected in that way until obviously our museums are open again and our people can walk around freely as we should. I don't know if the others want to come in and answer something or add to that.
Barry, I can add to that.
Yes, Michael.
Yes, in terms of the different museums being connected, I think that is absolutely how it should be. So the only thing that could potentially prohibit that is practicalities, resources, etc. But in practice, we would want to see that where somebody comes to the Rwanda Museum and has a query, and it's perhaps related to medical history, and the information for that query or answer lies with the Cape Medical Museum. And so the Rwanda Museum must be able to engage with the Medical Museum to get that information to essentially the visitor at the Rwanda Museum. So the museum managers definitely have an open platform to connect in that way, and Barry and Kumresh have set up platforms for the education officers to connect with one another. So that is definitely available and should be made use of. So I think that's an excellent question. I think my 2 cents before we wrap up the session, and I'm just thinking out loudly now, so don't quote me on this, although I know the session is recorded, but I'm not a very sentimental person, but or a person that thinks a lot in poetic form. But looking at the Zoom meeting today, I was just struck by how this is such a good metaphor for diversity and equality. If you look at how diverse the connections were, practically, you had people on cell phones, you had people using cell phone data, you had people working computers and laptops, and some fiber, some ADSL. And so the diversity in just practical connection to this conference or to this session was huge. And the effect that had on the quality of how each and every one of us experiences this conference, it's just so striking, because some of us had lesser connections, and so we sometimes heard in the picture or the audio being very laggy. Others didn't hear anything for some time, others struggled to connect, others only joined the conversation during session 2 or 3, and so were in a sense excluded from session 1 and 2 because of the type of connection. And I'm just struck by how this is a metaphor for society. And maybe this is a practical way in which all of us can now experience it. Because if you don't have a fantastic fiber, a lightning speed connection, and you are hearing information and getting access to information and conversations bit by bit or not at all, it certainly influences how you're able to engage in society, how you're able to access resources. And it's for me, just to be connected to this platform and experiencing that in a practical way. It was really enlightening and eye-opening, I think. And this is our first time doing this. We're certainly going to do this more as we continue. And I would like to encourage those that's taken part today and our visitors as well, just to look out for the invitations that's coming in the future. Like Barry said, Africa Day is potentially up next. The more people we can get to participate, I think we can, even during this time of COVID-19 and coronavirus, we can still build that social inclusion, we can still build that connectedness and belonging, or feeling of belonging, even in this time. So from my side, I want to thank all of you for participating. It's been fantastic to hear all the poetry, all the conversations and input, and I know that I'm better off it, for it, for hearing all your inputs today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Michael, for that. Is there anybody else who'd like to? I know we're running into the last few minutes of our presentation. Anybody we might have skipped again? I always think of communion in church. We skipped the bread and wine. Is there anybody that we skipped that would like to still do his or her presentation?
I would like to say something.
Yes, come in, sir.
So my name is Roger Jacobs from the Education Department. Just want to say thank you for the invitation. It was lovely listening to all the presentations. Just something about diversity I just want to bring your attention to. I think the museum has made lots of strides. This is from an outsider perspective, taking the museum to the people and being more innovative in the way that they do things. I think if you talk about diversity, it's important that we start by ourselves, with ourselves. You know, all of us have biases, and that we start to reflect and confront our own biases before we actually take out and report and advocate diversity. I also want to make the point that it's important to start with the young, and I know the museums are very involved with schools, and I think that's great. It's great to have these partnerships with schools, but also to play a role in getting children from different societies and schools together on different platforms. Even this wonderful technological platforms, if I may use that, is the way forward, just so that young people can get an opportunity to engage with each other, because I don't think that happens often enough. But once again, thank you for inviting me also to this meeting.
Hi,
Yes,
hi there.
Who is speaking? Sorry, Chase Lamb. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, go ahead.
Just to add to what Roger said, I think the concept of diversity is that one of the messages is not to judge, but it's also hard not to, because of our diverse nature. We sometimes tend to do it on a subconscious level. So what I can say is that it's okay to have your initial judgments, but you must also be willing to learn. We have to try to live in a world and society where constructive barriers are torn down. We have to be more open to accept other people's opinions and make them feel welcome and respected, and where they don't have to feel like they need to be what others expect them to be. So I think we need to talk about diversity and inclusion more often and demonstrate that we are committed to it. We have to learn more about someone's cultures, perhaps different religions, different belief systems. We just have to open our mind, take our time, get to know someone instead of just putting them in a box. So yeah, be that one person and just be the change that you want to see. So that's all that I just wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Jason, for that. Colleagues, I just want to end our special guest. I think before we cut off, I just want to quickly just basically go back to the program and just thank people just before we get back to the last few, just in case we are cut off. I just want to thank all our participants just before we go further with our discussion, and our special guests that also sat in, Mr. Damuka, Mr. Michael Jonas, and Mr. Roger Jacobs. Thank you very much for sitting in with us and being part of this special program. I hope we can invite you again. And of course, the hard work from our museum educators, guys. Thanks a lot for making contact with all our participants. The hard work you guys put in there. Thanks. We're still going to work hard for Africa Day again. So thanks again from Kumaresh and myself, and then obviously Mr. Michael Jansen from Rensburg doing the technical work there. I hope we can always count on you to help us in future events again. And
you just had to say that, Barry, because otherwise I could have just muted you.
We knew we'd throw problems in for it. I knew you'd say something there for that one. Thanks, Michael, for that, Mr. Kumaresh Chetty. Guys, and obviously our participants, I did say thank you, but really it was, I think from my side, a huge success. For the first time, I know we made mistakes, and I think, guys, we must look at our mistakes and our good things we did, and think of how we can improve the next event. I don't know if you guys want to come in there, Michael, just before we end off, Michael, Kumaresh, anything from you guys or from the floor?
Can I go first?
Yes, Kumaresh.
All right. I also want to echo what you've said, Barry. Thank you to the education personnel and to everybody that contributed meaningfully. I know it was tedious and laborious, and at times people got irritated with us, but I think it's historic. I think it's important for us to take note of what people have said today and give some deep thought and to reflect and to actually actualize what has been said, and for us to become better human beings. I think it starts with ourselves, as someone earlier said, and let us be this beacon of hope and become instruments of change, not only in our communities, but in our families as well. So thank you for a wonderful program. And I think I'm looking forward to International Museums Day. Thanks a lot. Thanks to everybody.
All right, thank you, Kumresh. Anybody else that would like to come in just before I don't know how many minutes we've got left, Michael.
We have 1 minute and 30 seconds left.
Thank you. Anybody else that would like to say something?
I would like to say something. Can you all hear me?
Yes. Yes, we can hear you.
Hi, good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
This is Martin from Shipwreck Museum, and yeah, I would just like to add, as a young individual from Shipwreck Museum, I am pretty glad to see how many youngsters have been part of this program today and putting in their performances, such as rapping and dancing, and I really think this is a good platform to also include them and just to broaden the borders of our young people as well, to take part and to be part of the museum and the culture and of course the history of the importance when it comes to our local museums. So thank you very much for this opportunity and for today's proceedings. A happy International Museums Day to everybody.
Thank you very much. Thank you for that contribution. Anybody else before we cut off? And anybody else, a few final words?
We will be cut off in 30 seconds.
30 seconds.
I would just like to
Right.
ask something, please. It's Owen Vessels from Canada. I would like to know if there are any other museums who has land available and who are interested in food production, especially now with the need for food, and how we can exchange our skills and maybe whatever supplies we need. What is the possibility